It's October 16th, 2025, and this is Eternal Grace. Let's talk about what's really going on.
And trust me, you're gonna want to hear this one.
Because while you're trying to figure out how to make it through a 16-day government shutdown, they're not just taking your voice, they're dismantling the entire system that lets you speak. The Supreme Court is about to gut the Voting Rights Act. Trump just admitted to running CIA operations in Venezuela, and millions of Americans might not get food assistance next month.
So yeah, let's get into it.
Story number 1. We are on day 16 of the government shutdown. That's over 2 weeks with 750,000 federal workers either furloughed or working without pay.
Air traffic controllers, TSA agents, Coast Guard, all working for free right now. But here's what should make your blood boil. Trump signed an executive order to make sure active duty military gets paid, which is great, but what about everybody else?
And let's talk about what this shutdown is really about. Democrats are fighting to extend health insurance tax credits for 24 million Americans who get coverage through the Affordable Care Act. That's it. That's what Republicans are willing to let the government collapse over: health care.
Republicans keep saying they'll deal with it later, and if you believe that, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you.
But here's where it gets real scary. SNAP benefits, that's food assistance for millions of families. The Department of Agriculture is warning there might not be enough funding to cover November if this keeps going.
We're talking about people not being able to feed their kids because Congress won't do its job.
And if you're feeling what we're saying right now, go ahead and hit that like button because we need to make sure people know what's really happening. Story number 2. Yesterday, the Supreme Court heard arguments in Louisiana versus Calais. And I'm going to tell you right now, this could be the biggest assault on voting rights in decades.
Here's the setup. Louisiana is 30% black. For years, they only had one majority black congressional district out of 6. After lawsuits, after fighting, they finally agreed to draw a second one. But then a group calling themselves non-African American voters sued to stop it.
Let that sink in. Non-African American voters sued because black people got fair representation. And the Supreme Court, the conservative majority, is seriously considering letting them win.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who voted to protect these rights just 2 years ago, now says race-based remedies shouldn't last forever. He's basically asking, haven't we solved racism yet?
No, Brat, we have not. Louisiana has racially polarized voting above 84%. That means almost all white voters won't vote for black candidates, even white Democrats.
That's not about party. That's about race.
And if this ruling goes the way it's looking, election experts say Democrats could lose up to 19 congressional seats across the South. 19. That's not just about representation. That's about whether black communities have any voice in Congress at all.
And that brings us to story number 3. Trump confirmed yesterday out loud in the Oval Office that he authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela.
He just said it like it was nothing.
He claims it's about drugs and immigration, says Venezuela emptied their prisons into America. But here's what we know for sure. Since September, the U.S. military has destroyed at least 5 boats in the Caribbean, killing 27 people. And lawmakers from both parties are asking for proof these boats were carrying drugs. The administration hasn't provided any hard evidence, just social media videos.
So we're conducting extrajudicial killings, possibly acts of war, with no congressional authorization, no transparency, and no proof. And Trump's talking about ground strikes now.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen, Democrat from New Hampshire, said it perfectly. The American people deserve to know if the administration is leading us into another conflict.
Because this is not how democracy works. You don't just decide you're at war and figure out the details later.
All right, we need to go deeper on this Voting Rights Act case because this isn't just about Louisiana. This is about the future of democracy in America.
The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was a promise. After generations of poll taxes, literacy tests, violence to keep black people from voting, Congress said enough. They passed a law that said if you're going to draw district lines, you can't do it in a way that wipes out minority voting power. Section 2 of that law has been the backbone of fair representation ever since. It's why we have Black representatives from the South, Latino representatives from Texas, Native representatives from Arizona.
But in 2013, the Supreme Court gutted part of the Voting Rights Act in Shelby County versus Holder. Chief Justice John Roberts said we didn't need those protections anymore because things had changed.
And what happened immediately after? States started passing strict voter ID laws, closing polling places in Black and brown neighborhoods, purging voter rolls. It was like they were waiting for permission.
And now they're coming for Section 2. If the Supreme Court sides with these non-African American voters, they're saying it's okay to dilute minority votes. They're saying fair representation is actually discrimination against white people.
Let me be crystal clear. Making sure Black votes count the same as white votes is not reverse discrimination. It's correction. It's remedying centuries of actual discrimination.
During oral arguments, Janai Nelson from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund made a powerful point. She said Congress deliberately didn't put a time limit on this protection. The 15th Amendment, which guarantees the right to vote regardless of race, doesn't have an expiration date. So why should the law protecting it?
Because they want it to expire, Riley. That's the point. They want to go back to a time when power stayed exactly where it was, in the hands of people who look like them, think like them, and vote like them.
And here's who pays the price. It's not just Black voters in Louisiana. It's every community that's had to fight for a seat at the table. If this protection falls, the table gets smaller, and a lot of people are counting on you being too overwhelmed by shutdowns and scandals to notice.
But people are noticing. Outside the Supreme Court yesterday, protesters were chanting, "My vote is my voice." They invoked John Lewis, Fannie Lou Hamer, all the civil rights heroes who fought for this, and they are not backing down.
And neither should you. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now. It's free, and it helps us keep bringing you the truth every single day.
You know, there's something I need to say, and I need you to really hear me. We are living in a moment where people in power are counting on you to be too tired, too scared, too distracted to fight back. They're counting on you to think, well, it's always been this way, or what can I do about it anyway? But here's the truth they don't want you to remember. We've been here before. Our ancestors faced worse. They faced dogs and fire hoses. They faced actual violence for trying to vote. And they didn't give up because they understood something we have to understand now. The right to vote, the right to be heard, the right to exist in this democracy with dignity, those things aren't gifts from the government. They're promises we make to each other. And when the Supreme Court tries to break that promise, when politicians shut down the government and let people go hungry, when they send military strikes without telling Congress, that's not politics as usual. That's betrayal. But we can't fix what we refuse to face. And baby, we are facing it now. We see exactly what's happening. And we have a choice. We can let them win by staying silent, or we can fight back with our votes, our voices, our communities, our truth. And I know which one I'm choosing.
All right, Greece said fight back. Let me tell you how. First, pay attention to redistricting in your state. Those maps matter. Show up to public hearings. Make noise. Because gerrymandering only works when people aren't watching.
Support organizations doing the work. NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Brennan Center for Justice, Fair Fight. They're in court every single day fighting for your rights.
Empower your friends. Check your own registration. Make sure everyone you know is ready to vote. Because if they're trying this hard to stop us, it means our votes terrify them.
And that's actually the good news here. All this effort, all these court cases, all these attempts to silence us, it's because they know we have power.
We have each other. We have the truth, and yeah, we have this show.
So share this video. Send it to someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and let us know what you're thinking. Because this community, this is how we stay strong.
Because even in the mess, there's still light.
And sometimes it looks like us.
This has been Eternal Grace. We'll be back tomorrow with more news, more truth, more clarity.
Stay informed. Stay angry when you need to be. And stay hopeful.
If you believe in facts, love, and holding power accountable,
hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video.
We're doing this together.
See you tomorrow.